Howdy. We are watching Windy Radar, and there at the center of the picture is Turkey. There's something a little bit going on near Tunisia, or between Tunisia and Italy. And also here, there is something. But there's nothing too wild visible at this. But yesterday, when I watched Windy, and especially this region, I was rather surprised about what I saw. So I made a quick screen video because I somehow expected it wouldn't be visible anymore today. So now let's have a look at the screen recording from Windy yesterday. Yeah, what's that? What's this grid? I tried to zoom in on a few spots, but there wasn't anything special. There weren't like water bodies or rivers. There was just like areas. And according to the radar, there should be like rainfall. Maybe there has been some rainfall. I didn't have time to check this. But I just thought this looks rather interesting. I don't know what to make out of that. But that looked just rather interesting. Now to something else interesting. I just stumbled across an article and I thought that's pretty interesting. University of Colorado Boulder. Deep within an inhospitable desert, a window to first life on Earth. Yeah, I just saw some documentary about the Atacama Desert. They were testing some Mars robot or whatsoever. And they didn't find any life. Green mounds of stromatolites flourish at the bottom of the lagoon in Argentina's Puna de Atacama. CU Boulder geologist Brian Hynek has helped to document what may be a unique kind of ecosystem on Earth and a possible window into the earliest stages of life on this planet 3.5 billion years ago, and even life on ancient Mars. This alien environment was previously unknown to science. Is made up of a system of lagoons surrounded by vast salt plains. They sit in Argentina's Puna de Atacama, a high plateau desert more than 12,000 feet above sea level. It's among the driest environments on Earth. Here, rain rarely, if ever, falls. What a sentence. Here, rain rarely, if ever, falls, and sunlight beats down unforgivingly, creating an environment few plants or animals can survive. But according to new research, the lagoons are home to something else. Vibrant displays of stromatolites, or complex microbial communities that form giant mounds of rock as they grow. A bit like corals building a reef millimeter by millimeter. Hynek's preliminary observations suggest that these communities may resemble stromatolites that existed during a period of Earth's history called the Early Archean, when oxygen was almost non-existent in the atmosphere. And yet they are wondering why they found them on top of a mountain where the air is rather thin. Anyway. This lagoon could be one of the best modern examples of the earliest signs of life on Earth, said Hynek, professor in the Laboratory for Atmospheric and Space Physics and Department of Geological Sciences. It's unlike anything I've ever seen, or really like anything any scientist has ever seen. Heineck and Maria Farias, a microbiologist and co-founder of Puna Bio SA Environmental Consulting, will present their findings December 11th at the 2023 meeting of the American Geophysical Union in San Francisco. The researchers hope to return to the lagoon soon to confirm their initial results. Heineck called finding this alien environment the biggest eureka moment I have ever had in my life. Yes. It's just amazing that you can still find undocumented things like that on our planet, he said. Eureka moment. Getting to the lagoon was an adventure in and of itself. Through his career, Heineck has traveled to some of the most extreme environments on Earth to understand how life might thrive on alien planets and moons. He climbed to the top of the world's tallest active volcano, Hoyos del Salado, on the border between Argentina and Chile, and has traveled to Antarctica to search for fallen meteorites. In April 2022, Farias brought him to one of her study sites in northwest Argentina. To get there, the scientists drove roughly 9 hours down a dirt road. They stayed in a village of about 35 people who rely on a single spring of water. Yeah, like I said many times, you need water if you want to have something like a community or civilization going on. Let's take, for example, once again, a castle. If you build a castle on top of a mountain, you need to have water in that castle, otherwise you cannot be there. And after water dry out, they had to leave the castle. That's why I think that's the biggest reason for why so many castles got abandoned back then. There wasn't any water anymore. Anyway, on his last night in the village, Heineck was perusing. I don't know what that means. Perusing? Satellite images of the surrounding desert and saw something strange what looked like a network of lagoons tens of miles away. Intrigued, he and Farias drove as far as they could, then hiked several miles in the blazing sun. In some places we were sinking up to our knees in salt slush, he said. When they arrived at the lagoon, however, Heineck immediately knew that they had found something special. Yeah, I could give you a few hints in order to get to some places and check them out. The network of 12 lagoons stretched over roughly 25 acres and was ringed by barren mountains in the distance. Beneath its crystal clear waters, Heineck could see giant mounds of green growth, some 15 feet wide and several feet high. They were stromatolites, but unlike any he had ever seen. Running out of time, stromatolites in general refer to a range of microbial communities that are associated with layers of rock. They exist on Earth today, including off the coast of the Bahamas, but modern stromatolites tend to be relatively small. They also grow passively by trapping grains of sand and other detritus floating in the ocean. Ancient stromatolites, in contrast, could stretch to 20 feet tall. They actively pulled in calcium and carbon dioxide from the surrounding water, causing minerals to precipitate around them. Precipitate. Calcium. The mounds in the Atacama lagoons looked a lot more like some of those Archean communities than anything alive on Earth today. Their rocky layers were constructed mostly from gypsum, which is also calcium. This has to do something with the right rivers. Maybe silt, too. A common mineral in many stromatolite fossils, but absent in almost all modern examples of stromatolites. Biologically, they were made up of an outer layer of photosynthetic microbes called the cyanobacteria and the pinkish core rich in archaea, single-celled organisms, often found in extreme environments on Earth. We think these mounds are actually growing from the microbes, which is what was happening in the oldest ones. Why they formed at this one harsh location isn't clear. The lagoon environment could resemble the conditions on ancient Earth, Hynek said. Yeah, there hasn't been probably so much oxygen back then in the days when they grew, maybe. Maybe much more. Maybe they don't care too much about the oxygen content at all. The waters are salty and acidic, and because of the high elevation, are exposed to severe levels of solar radiation. The communities could also provide scientists with an unprecedented look at how life may have arisen on Mars, which resembled Earth billions of years ago. Yeah, maybe not. If life ever evolved on Mars to the level of fossils, it would have been like this, Hynek said. Understanding these modern communities on Earth could inform us about what we should look for as we search for similar features in the Martian rocks. Hynek and Farias are hoping to conduct further experiments to confirm that these new stromatolites are indeed actively building their rocky formations and explore how the microbes manage to survive the harsh conditions. Maybe we also should think about that. The harsh conditions are only for humans or many other animals. But for some, they don't seem to be harsh conditions at all. So it's a thing of perception. The scientists, however, may be running out of time. A company from outside Argentina has already leased the area to mine for lithium. Yeah. Once drilling begins, the Atacama lagoons could be irreversibly transformed. Yeah, there's something about lithium. Maybe I have to check it out once. This entire unique ecosystem could be gone in a matter of years, Hynek said. We are hoping that we can protect some of these sites, or at least detail what's there before it's gone or disturbed forever. So there is still stuff going on as it has been going on back in the days. Yeah, this man just got his mind blown. And now we have to think that if these are still existing today, there haven't just been found too many of them yet. So what's up with the history? These aren't ancient creatures anymore because they are living today. Now that's somehow a funny thing to think about. Like so many things of the past, they're still here. So maybe time just doesn't go by, it just accumulates into more and more and more and more. Anyway, I found that an interesting article. Especially when some people say that they had eureka experiences. Where did it say it like that? Somewhere. The biggest eureka moment I've ever had in my life. Yeah. I had several eureka moments in the last 2 years or something. It's really hard to tell which one was the biggest. But that's a cool thing to experience, tell you. Yeah, now we found these microbes being alive and thriving on Earth still today. That's very interesting. Thanks.